everybody to the YouTube Gaming live streaming panel at PAX West. This is the first panel, I believe, going on. We've got keynote speakers, but you guys have seen the very first panel. Congratulate yourselves. First of all, how many of you here have a YouTube channel? All right. How many of you stream live or want to stream live? Okay, good. Because we have a panel here that's going to help you guys out. I fully believe this is probably cream of the crop currently of live streaming day and night. You're not going to find a better panel. So congratulations.
Give yourself a round of applause for real. Real, wake up! It's Pam. What's wrong with you? There you go. That's
Just for the people who are not aware, live streaming is a big thing on YouTube and YouTube gaming. It's something that's coming up. It's going to be the future of YouTube and I believe the future of all entertainment. Currently, VOD is king, but that's the old dinosaur. I guarantee you within 5 to 10 years, everyone's going to be streaming live, and I hope you're a part of it. My name is Game Dojo. I don't know if anyone knows who I am. Doesn't matter. I'm a live streamer as well. I enjoy it. It's been my passion, but it's my hobby. I have a full-time job because I'm not as amazing as these three people. So I can only do so much with myself. But I am every night at 10 p.m. Central. I am what I call a show. I do gaming, but my main focus is to entertain and to enjoy the experience with the community, which we'll touch on a little later. The panel. We've got ourselves Game Attack. Julie, otherwise known as One Shot Girl, and I want to say it, but I'm going to say it right. Stat. Everyone knows Stat. His name is Stat with a number, not a letter. First name is, I think it's Bolin, or Sean Bolin.
Hello.
Is only one half of Game Attack. The other half is, I think his name's Craig. And they started together in 2016 under the umbrella of Rooster Teeth and the better known form, Screw Attack. Sorry, Screw Attack. So I always get Attack wrong. Screw Attack, and then there's Rooster Teeth, and they started Game Attack below that umbrella. They've gone independent as of May, and they are now a full streaming service. They started VOD, found the allure and the benefit of live streaming, and now currently full-time live streamers. They are the most sponsored live stream on YouTube Gaming currently, and that is a testament to their ability to be communication to their community and their content.
We don't know if we're actually the most sponsored, but we have like a really strong feeling we are.
Stop it! You're the most sponsored YouTube Gaming. Give them up for Attack. Next up is Julie. She goes by Julie, but everyone knows her as the One Shot Girl, owner of the One Shot Nation. She is probably the most successful personally on the YouTube gaming platform as a live streamer. She's the most engaging, she's the most interesting, and she's the most amazing shot with a sniper you have ever seen. It's insane.
I only paid him like $10 to say that, so.
Anyways. I mean, for the most part, she started because the 9-to-5 job did not work for her. Like a lot of people on YouTube, you find yourself in this position in a real job where you're doing the daily grind, but you're not enjoying yourself. And the second you get that first view on your video, or that first live commentator, it's like an addiction. You immediately feel like this is where I want to be. She found her place in live streaming, and thank God for it because she's amazing. So give it up for One Shot.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, she's a really bad person.
Speak the truth.
I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Last but definitely least is Stat. I'm sorry, that backwards, right? I'm sorry, I apologize for that. This man is amazing at what he does. He has been a tour de force since the day he started. Apparently, he tells me he started as a test. I don't know, on a Tuesday, he figured, I'm going to dominate this network. So one day he hit live, never turned back. It's been pretty amazing to watch his growth and his interaction, and he is the nicest guy you'll ever meet on YouTube Gaming. So give it up for Stat. Now, I don't know if you need an icebreaker, but we're going to do it anyways. It's called Two Truths, One Lie. So we're going to go start with, over here at Bolin. He's going to tell us 2 truths and 1 lie, and the panel's going to guess which one's the lie.
What? I thought that was like the preview to the lyrics of that. 2 truths, 1 lie, 1 house, no blouse. I thought that was a song.
This guy's smarter than I am, but no.
2 truths and 1 lie. I wish I would have understood what that slide meant when I was sensitive. Yeah, you go first.
Okay,
You go
I'll
first.
go. I'm ready. Okay.
She's prepared.
Prepared. Are you ready?
No.
Okay. All right. I'll try to draw this out as long as possible. Okay. Hold on. Let's see.
You wrote notes?
You wrote it down?
Because I was going to forget. It took me forever to think of this. I was going to forget.
I had no idea what that meant.
You guys have you guys played it too? You guys know?
We can educate our panel sometime.
Okay. All right, you guys think. Okay, I'll go first. What am I going to say first? Okay. So, wait, you know how this works?
I got it. All right. My mother has one eye.
My mother has two eyes.
My dad once set his entire arm on fire by exploding a gasoline can on it.
And the third,
I don't know. I once went and played video games with a porn star, and then the same night I went to like a Hollywood movie dojo and practiced medieval weaponry.
I have no idea.
don't look at me. I'm not supposed to guess. It's your guys' guess.
Which one's the lie? You're supposed to guess what the lie is.
Yeah, you guessed a lot.
Yes. Yeah.
They were also unconvincing.
What's the second?
Yeah, what was the second one?
Dad's something about my dad setting his hand on fire. That's a lie. Man, F this entire game. No, you're wrong. All three of them are true. I don't follow the rules. We're rule breakers at Game Attack.
Get out of my
All
panel.
true.
Get out.
My mother does have one eye. She do not boo me, man. Do not boo me. Boo this man. Whoever said that. But yeah, my mom got her eye knocked out by a car wash spray gun. Went crazy.
Are you serious?
Yep. My dad did set his hand on fire because he's an idiot.
You are accident prone. I'm staying away from you.
And I did play Hatoful Boyfriend with a porn star before going to Warrior Showdown in LA and practicing medieval weaponry.
Wow, this guy's good. This guy's good. Julie, your turn.
Well, okay, I have a lie here, so we'll play the actual game. Okay, one time I ate a chicken nugget off the floor of a Wendy's, because that's how much I love Wendy's. In college, we had a donut eating competition. I ate 16 donuts in 8 minutes. And the final one, I really love pranking people. So in college, my roommate and I got shrimp from our dining commons, and we put it in a bowl, and we taped it on the bottom of one of our friends' beds, like his bunk bed. And he didn't find it for a week, and it like stunk up their whole floor.
That's awesome. It's true.
How was
So
that?
we have chicken nugget, donut, and shrimp.
Hey, she said that she did. She said the Wendy's thing, but she said I ate the chicken nugget off the Wendy's floor because that's how much I love Wendy's.
Yeah.
So she was doing the store a favor by cleaning up the chicken nugget, not eating the chicken nugget because she loves Wendy's, not the nuggets. That's what she said. So that one's the lie.
I agree.
That is true.
Oh.
I was never part.
It's true that we're right.
Yeah.
No, sorry. It was, you were wrong.
Oh.
Yeah, you were wrong. It was true. The lie was I never was in a donut eating competition. I love donuts, but I never did.
I still don't have it.
I know.
I'm going to come up with it right now.
Say you have a beard, you have glasses, and you have a hat. Pretty easy stat. Come on, boy.
All right. So, two truths, one lie.
It's like you've had time to
I was
think about it.
on Jay Leno. This beard is real, and
This is the lie.
I love Game Dojo.
Game Jojo, you suck!
So we're going to skip the questions. Heartbreaks every day with this man. Why am I here? All right, well, that's obviously the lie. So thank you so much, guys, for playing. Round of applause for 2 groups of live. We taught 2 people how to game. All right, so we're going to start off with the biggest question of all, probably. Why live stream? And we're going to start from the far left of the panel. with Bolin because I think he's got a good reason why. Because he started and has been doing this, what, 8 years, 9 years?
No, I mean, well, I'll explain, but I won't give you the long-ended answer I gave you earlier.
Okay, but the point is that I think he knows what it means to start non-living and then go into living.
Yes.
Mode. So go ahead.
Yeah, so Game Attack was a sub-channel of Screw Attack. If any of y'all have ever heard of Death Battle at all, like that's the channel that's on. So we started Game Attack because we wanted to start a VOD channel that was based around like gaming again and having like a really strong community. Like, you see these big gaming channels where something that really bothers me on Twitter is when somebody thinks it's a big deal when an online personality like retweets them or favorites them or quotes their tweet. That bugs me because it should be like that all the time. Like I'm in the belief that like creators should just be constantly open and communicative with their audience. So Craig and I launched Game Attack with that kind of spirit, and it was a VOD channel for almost 8 months, I think, and it was going really, really well. But Screw Attack had to move down to Austin, and 2 of our personalities on our channel moved with them. So it was just me and Craig left over at Game Attack, and we're looking at our schedule, and we're making 7 pieces of content, and thinking about all the editing that goes into videos, and there's just 2 of us, and we're like, we can't do this. It's impossible. So we're like, let's just start streaming all the time. And the reason we want to stream is not just because of that practical reason, but because that transparency with audience is the ultimate to me and to Craig, who's not here because he's streaming right now. But live streaming is awesome because, unlike VOD, you are in the conversation with your chat all the time. And that's actually one of the benefits that Craig and I have that y'all have to do double duty on is communicating and playing and looking. Like with Craig and I, like one of us can play and one of us can be like in the chat. So, but yeah, we live stream because it is fun, it is open, it is super transparent, and we can have conversations with the chat. We can pay direct attention to what they're saying and what is, I don't know, it's just how it goes, that we are probably, I would say we're 60 to 70% chat and community interaction, and the rest is game. So, we're not just honed in and just while the chat is scrolling and telling us stuff. And so, yeah, that transparency, that interaction.
So the interaction is going to be strong enough to pull you away from VOD. It's a big enough pull
Yes,
to make that.
yeah, definitely. And I think, like you were saying, I think somebody chuckled that, live streaming is the future. I think...
people just laughing all the time.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, I think people are going to start figuring that out. There's easy ways to have that interactivity with your audience, and I think more and more creators are going to start realizing it soon.
But thank you, appreciate it. You guys anything to add to that? Why you live streaming?
Yeah, I would echo what he's saying, basically, that you can really connect with your communities a way that I feel you can't connect with VOD. I mean, you can read their comments and reply to their comments, but when you're playing, they experiencing that moment with you, and they can help you in your journey in whatever game you're playing, or they, just the reactions that you have, and then they have the same reaction or a different reaction, and you can see it in the chat. And I really think that is a beautiful part of live streaming, and it connects you with people that you obviously don't know, but you feel like you do, and it's something that I never felt when I was making videos compared to live streaming. So
you are correct. All right, well, if you we can move on.
Sorry, I just thought of something else. They can be, and your audience can be part of your show. The other night we had, we call our community G1s. I don't know if you've ever heard of Game Attack. We call our community G1s because I don't know why, but we do. But somebody in our chat was like, hey, can I get they super chatted us, and they were like, hey, watching your streams is so awesome. I just want to say thanks because a family member of his who he had watched Game Attack with him while he was in the hospital before he died of cancer. And so he was like, oh, it means the world. And so other than being like, oh man, that's so awesome, Craig and I were like, like, oh, I'm so sorry. And then we shot heart. We were playing Battlegrounds, and we shot machine gun hearts into the wall of the house we were in, and then we like bowed down in front of him, and like, and another guy proposed to his wife on stream, but like I had Craig get down. We were playing pub because we play a lot of pub, and like I think Craig got down on his knee and like we like role played the proposal like to this guy's wife. But then when Craig asked if I could marry him, I shot him in the head with a shotgun. And just offed him, and you know it was funny and stuff and all that stuff. I don't know if she said yes or not, but yeah, that's just something I'd add.
Yeah, so it seems like the conversation already went to the next round. So the next question is simply, how do you manage your community? Because that's what it is, right? Live streaming is community. That's your main reason for doing it, and that's also the reason to keep doing it. So what's like, Julie's probably the best example I would think of how to manage your community. I think, from what I've seen, you were probably the strongest community organizer on YouTube Gaming that I've seen.
Yeah, it's hard though. I spend a lot of time off stream interacting more with my viewers. So it's hard when you have 1,500 people watching and everyone wants to comment and chat and talk with you. So I always tell people like, join our Discord server, hit me up on Twitter. Like I read all my tweets. Like I'll reply to your comment on Instagram or whatever. So I actually spend a lot of time outside of my streams, and I think it shows in my streams. So, like even one of my best friends is sitting here in the audience today, Brandon, because I met him through a live stream. So I really take the time through other social media outside of YouTube to really try to connect like more one-on-one. And you can't connect with everybody, but there's going to be those people where you're like, okay, like they're worth the time to reply to and just try to get to know better. So that's my best advice, but it's a lot of time. It's a lot of time. All of my time is put into my channel and getting to know my viewers. So
yeah, and that's a great way of how you're adapting to. Because like I was saying with Craig and I, like we have the resources in bodies sitting there to read directly on the chat, and we can get in social media too. But that's awesome what you do with, since you can't get to, and you have a lot of times double the viewership that Game Attack has. So like that's a good way of getting that interaction. Whenever you can't, just go through the scrolling text as fast as you can, like while you're playing the game. So,
but building up that audience and then like building up the relationship with them afterwards really comes back in the streams. I think like you may think that I wouldn't want to say it's wasting time, because I think it's a great investment of time, and you can really see it come back into your streams when you see the same people keep coming back and like they're super loyal and they're just they go to like another level of like fan.
Yeah, and you build relationships, and then like they start joking, and like you have inside jokes with specific people in the chat that the rest of the chat doesn't get, but like you're laughing at it. It's wild. And like with streaming, I don't really feel like Game Attack. We have staff, and so like I don't really feel like from a streaming side that we're gonna ever need like a community manager, because like it's right there, like you're on camera and you're constantly interacting. So. Managing is a matter of making your audience understand what they're there for, and being nice to one another, and having a good time.
What would you guys think of the biggest challenge managing the community would be?
Time.
yeah.
Time.
It's just a lot of time afterwards, like communicating like in Discord or talking on Twitter, Instagram, whatever, and you think that streaming is long, you're doing 6-hour streams, and then after that you're spending hours during your night doing the whole like community management thing, and it's tough.
It's like
worth it though.
It's like having hundreds of friends that you constantly are in It's like being in a group text with hundreds of people at a time, and it's just you just have to get used to it.
And one thing that I kind of learned with doing that is the more like when I kind of reach out and get to know, I don't know, like 10 people really well. Those 10 people then kind of reach out and get to know another 10 people really well. So it kind of becomes like these sub-communities within the community, and all of these people build friendships. Like I might not be best friends with this person down the line, but they are best friends with this person, who's best friends with this person, who I'm like really good friends with. So you kind of just start to see these like sub-communities form, and it just makes your overall community a lot stronger, because then these people are all best friends and they say hi to each other in the chat, and it just kind of grows like that way as well.
Yeah, word of mouth is the strongest way to grow anything. Like you can play the most popular game and hope that you get like cold viewers in that will become part of your community. But the way you grow community is by those members reaching out to people they know who they're interacting with and say, hey, come hang out with me over here. So
not only is it the best reason for live streaming this community, it's also to grow the channel. It's a two-part benefit.
Of course, yeah.
Well, Stat, since you started in 2015 and you started fresh from YouTube, no VOD is just testing it out. What has changed since 2015? What is the biggest thing you could see from then to now?
I'd probably say like the way you can monetize the stream, like with Super Chat being there and sponsorships as well. I think that it gives a way to like basically make a living off of live streaming on YouTube. So that was a lot harder in the beginning.
Okay. You guys notice anything different, really?
yeah, I'd say the same thing. Like on when I was working for Screw Attack, we streamed for like a year on we streamed on Twitch, and we streamed like 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, and it was just a huge time sink. And this was before like even Twitch had like the bits and stuff, and now YouTube has Super Chat and sponsorships and all that. There wasn't a way to earn on streaming. It's probably been the biggest thing. So.
Which it doesn't make sense because also that money also drives the growth of the channel, of the YouTube gaming community, because it used to be pretty small and it's expanded exponentially. I wonder how much that might have to do with it. Right. Now, how do you work with game companies? I'm not sure which one of you would probably be the best with this question. I guess just speak up. I'm not sure who's the best connections in that front.
I think working with Screw Attack, I probably would have the most experience with that. That's from like a BOD standpoint. We used to do a lot of content on Screw Attack that involved, like we did game reviews and stuff like that, more traditional stuff that game companies would just, you'd just be on a mailing list and they'd send you stuff. We are partnered in the Let's Play family with Rooster Teeth. Raise your hand for Reed. Isn't he the cutest little thing right there? Oh my gosh. But we're partnered with Rooster Teeth in interacting with game companies and stuff. So we've, we'll do, like right now, a game company will be like, hey, play our game. And like, if we think it's really awesome, hell yeah, we're gonna play it. And we'll just make content around it. Other than that, those are, when you see, like we did like a thing with Ghost Recon where Ubisoft was like, hey, play Ghost Recon Wildlands and do the crazy shit. And they gave us all these missions and stuff to do. Like Ghost Recon was like, hey, you have to complete this mission and not be detected. And then they would like compensate us for making that content, and that's how it is right now from like a creator perspective. I can tell you, like, if you're into the VOD thing, if you want to like make game reviews or like cover new games or stream brand new games, that eventually comes with channel growth. You try to reach out and make contacts, and you have a large enough channel, you have the clout, and then. With codes, it's like really easy now for people to send review copy to you, but it's just a matter of getting the size you need to get that kind of stuff. But
what about any negatives you guys have found working with game companies? Anything you've stumbled across that is like, ooh, I want to warn the next person that comes across somebody that has this happen to them, be wary.
I'm not really in the circle of people that thinks that game companies are evil sons of bitches or anything like that. Like game companies are not out to hurt you. They're here to make stuff that you love to play, hopefully, or they like to make stuff that you love to hate. No, there's probably been 2 or 3 occasions where a game company has been like, whatever you do, don't show this specific cutscene because it leads to a game-breaking bug, and because when they send a review copy, they'll send you a little sheet of stuff not to say. But that's like understandable. Like I get it, but no, I can't really think of anything.
Now I believe you two were just sent off to Germany through PUBG, an independent game company. Since you guys competed in the tournament, how'd that go?
The tournament was cool, and it was a good experience going to Germany. I've been to Germany. I really appreciate when companies offer those types of experiences. I love to jump on those opportunities. Mm-hmm. The tournament had some issues, so there was some frustration there. But other than that, going there and the experience and playing the game and meeting everyone, that's what I really like about doing those things. Is like, it's a great place to network. It's like same, not just that situation, but like coming to conventions like this. And it's a great way if you want to get review copies, is going to meet companies here, talking to them, giving them a card, and be like, hey, I like your game. Can I get a review copy? And just ask them. Like they'll most likely give it to you. And there's websites also where you can get like on lists of indie games, you know, in the beginning at least, and then eventually, you know, more AAA titles and things like that. But,
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, people are probably like, well, how do I like even get on their radar? Like Twitter is a big one. Like follow the people that work at these companies. Like, you know, tweet at them. Like I don't know how many times I'll just like DM somebody like, hey, like I just love your game and I'm playing it and my viewers love it. And I'm just, you know, I just want to say hi, like I'm a YouTuber. And so like so many relationships have formed because I just have done that. And especially like get to know other streamers on your level, like especially with Stat and I, like so many times, like our channels are pretty similar, but so many times like he's introduced me to somebody and I've introduced him to somebody because like we're friends and you know we want to grow together and we want to help each other. So I think the best thing you guys can do is be active like on social media, like follow these companies, follow these people, introduce yourselves, and then also just network with other content creators.
Community managers for these companies as well.
Yeah.
Are huge. Like that's why they're there is for you guys to reach out. And like if you're at the PAX booths and you go to the indie area, like just straight up be like, hey, don't lie to them, but be like, hey, I've got a YouTube channel, like I want to play this, like can I get your email information? Or, you know, every single one of them has a business card. And indie devs, if anything, are like really good practice for networking, for working with game companies, because you know it's just one or two guys that just want to share their game with the world, and like if you have an outlet to do that, they'll help you. Like I promise. So.
All right. Now, when you start a YouTube channel, you do it because you love what you're doing. You do it because you want to be creating something, you want to talk to people, you want to be communicative with the community, you want to be the next big star. But in order to do it properly for a living, you got to make some money. So I'm curious, guys, how do you guys, make money on YouTube?
I feel like I've talked a lot, so you go first.
Tips and I mean sponsors, like they're rolling it out to everybody on the YouTube gaming platform. But sponsorships, that's a huge one from your viewers, and then people who tip your live streams. So that's the biggest source of revenue for me personally, are people who come in and who tip. So they somehow feel like you are just making a positive impact on their life, and they just like want to get back to you. So
Now, how many people here are familiar with sponsorships and what it is on YouTube? You guys not that number, because right now it's mainly only on YouTube Gaming and only a certain list of people. So could you explain what exactly sponsorship means, what it is for the platform?
It's a monthly recurring thing where it's not unlike Twitch subscriptions, where you pay, I think it's $4.99 a month now.
Depends on where you're at, yes.
Okay, so like on Game Attack, we have early access to emoticons. Thank you guys back there. Thank you for the emojis, not emoticons, emojis. Thank you. But we have like access to emojis, and sponsorships will like get you access to those. And it's the best way to support the channel, because that's hopefully you'll keep your sponsorship and you'll come back. And we actually offer, like at Game Attack, I know you guys do this too, we have like goals tied to number of sponsors we have, and we're like really transparent with our audience of like how many sponsors we have. I think we're at like 1,750 right now. And at 2,000, we're gonna bring back like an old series. But in the past, like every 200 sponsors we get, like we'd do something special, like a special video or a special live stream. But yeah, we have like our sponsor goals, and then donations and super chats are like really important. So,
What do you guys would say that your most successful sponsorship perk is right now?
well, honestly, I can't even remember what our earlier ones, because we've been doing the productions that those goals got us. But like right now we just hit 1,750, and some people don't renew. Yeah. So some people don't renew their sponsorships every month. So like once a month we get like hit with like this big purge of like sponsorships. Like we'll drop like 40, and we're just like, oh no guys, because it's really like shit. so it's like, oh no guys, we got to grow our sponsorships back. But right now we just hit 1,750. Usually the purges happen on the weekends. So if we're at 1,750 on Monday, we're gonna start planning a slumber party. And what we did last time for the slumber party was we streamed from like 8 p.m. to like 2 o'clock in the morning, and we played Jackbox games with our chat. Then we talked about we like laid out a pallet like on our studio floor. Like we just laid out all these blankets and pillows and stuff, and we went in our pajamas. And then after we did that, we talked about girls. We just sat on this carpet and we talked about girls. Like, we talked about like Katy Perry and stuff like that.
Who's your
Whatever.
crush? Did you tell me who your crush was?
Huh? Yeah, I don't remember which one though. I got lots of crushes. We just talked about girls, and like when we talk about girls, like the chat is saying, "What about?" I can't think of a single woman on earth to talk about right now for some reason. The chat's like, "What about who's the girl? Who's the Hunger Games girl? Jennifer Lawrence." The chat's like, "What about Jennifer Lawrence?" And we're like, "Oh, Jennifer Lawrence is so cool," like we just talk about girls. And after that, we queued up Netflix, and we like put like a text overlay over the TV in our studio that said, "Go to Netflix," and then we put a time code in the top right corner, and then we just laid down and we watched Sky High on Netflix, but we synced it up with our audience, with our chat. So we just laid there and we watched Sky High. The audience was watching Sky High while watching me and Craig lay and look at a TV with text over the screen, so YouTube wouldn't because you can't obviously do that on the internet because it's illegal. But yeah, we just watched Sky High with our audience, and we also made meatball sandwiches, and we ate them all night. And then so that was like our sponsor goal, and we did it last time, and we're doing it again at this. So really dumb stuff like that, just anything to give the audience the experience of being in the room with us. So
Sounds like fun.
y'all can come to the next slumber party.
Yeah.
We might fly y'all out. The next slumber party we have, you two are
fly me down there?
Yeah, we'll fly you both down.
You guys gonna play spin the bottle?
No. It's horrible.
Never gonna happen.
Just like in our married.
And you and Craig, just the two of you.
That's why I said no like that.
I'd sponsor find that. All right, so next question: what tools do you guys make it more interactive? It kind of already goes with what we just talked about, but if you're not a sponsor, how do you interact with your audience in a way that's beyond just the game?
Twitter and Discord, like Julie was saying.
I mean, having the alerts on the screen create this way for people to interact with you, either by tipping you or even the super chat in the chat. It's like a way to interact that's on another level of just chatting with people.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's not just it's having something on your screen that they can sort of take part in. So same with sponsoring or there's parts of even with emojis now, having the emojis and seeing people put them in the chat when you do something cool in the game or they have an inside joke with you and they can put the emojis. So it's a way to connect with people and make it more interactive.
Julie, you have the smash the like button animation that you have.
Yeah, so different animations, and actually Dojo here, he has the best animations. But yeah, different animations and things on screen. But I also started doing what month is it? 8 months ago. I started brainstorming with my family, and we came up with an idea to actually do handmade decorations. So whenever somebody sponsors or tips, my mom, each month we come up with a theme. And so my mom hand makes these decorations. And so I'll write their name and then pin it. I have this huge green screen behind me. My dad made it, thanks Dad. So I pin it to the green screen. So it just that way people they actually feel they're part of the stream and when I tip it's kind of cool. I get a little decoration. It's really dorky and silly, but I mean, my viewers really like it, and I like it too. It just gives it a little more celebration.
Stat, you have the beards like that, don't you? The beard wall. Yeah. We have the Big Pickle. It's an award we give to our highest donator each stream, so it's cumulative, and we have a Photoshop template of this hand holding this big green pickle. And I could explain why it's the Big Pickle Award, but I just thought it was funny. But yeah, so whenever a stream is over, we'll see who our biggest donator is, and then we'll tweet at them with their name on the award with how much they donated and stuff for that day. But yeah. And it becomes a meta game between users. Somebody will donate $50 and then somebody else will donate $50.01.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then in their message they'll be "Oh, eat that! I'm the Big Pickle now." So, it's just a meta game for the audience, and obviously it's a really good help for us as well. So.
Now this next question, I'm sure you guys have answered 1,000 times in your chat. I mean, everyone gets the same question. It's kind of a hard question because you don't want to steer them the wrong way, and everyone has their own path. But what would be your best advice when starting a live stream or becoming a new live stream channel on YouTube? Stan,
I would say play a popular game to start, and like obviously like the game you're playing, but it's good to start with something that's popular so that, at least in my opinion, so that you can get new eyeballs in there and potentially grow your community and your audience. It's super difficult sometimes with like smaller games. You could technically do it, but I feel like it takes longer. For me, the way I grew my channel is literally every time a new popular game came out, like I played that game. And then if the game didn't do well, like I threw it. And like then I played the next popular game. I just kept doing that until the game basically died off in numbers and played the new game. And obviously I like those games I played, so it wasn't like I was, I mean, sometimes I play them a little longer than I would normally. Like, so there is that like medium where you have to be like, listen, I don't want to drive myself crazy, but I also want to grow my channel. So it's like, you got to find this happy medium where you feel comfortable playing a game like that. Because sometimes playing the same game over and over can get repetitive, But then, the community is there also. So once you're building this community, it's not just playing a game, you're also spending time with people that, you enjoy spending time with. So it gives like another aspect to playing games. Like when I used to actually slow down playing video games before I started streaming. And then I started streaming and I like fell in love with it again because it was like this new experience for me, like playing with people that, are there with you, enjoying the moment at the same time. So streaming is amazing. I love it.
Yeah, I would say that, and also consistency. And I know a lot of people here, like maybe you can't stream every single day for 4 to 6 hours like we do. But if you can, pick a time and commit to it. If it's once a week, commit to that. Like every Thursday at 8 p.m., you're live. Like commit to that for as long as you can. And like I've changed my streaming schedule like over the course. Like I think I did I was streaming at like 12 p.m. and then I would take a break and came back at like 8 p.m. Eastern. And I did that for a couple months, but I committed to it. And then I changed it, and now I'm like at 6 o'clock every night. But I've committed to that time for like 8 months now. And I've seen so much growth because people know that I'm live at this time. So again, if it's one night a week, fantastic, but commit to it for as long as you can. And give it at least like 3 months. Try to commit to that for at least like 3 months.
Yeah, 'cause I
and
remember
people know.
Because you started with VOD, and I remember when you started, you were streaming maybe twice a week at random times, and, and you're almost struggling away because even though you had a huge base, they didn't know when you were on. But then suddenly you sunk down into a schedule, and boom, it's now the One Shot Nation.
Yeah, so both of those things, like what Stat said, and then if you can, just commit to a time, be as consistent as possible when you first start out, especially.
Yeah, I think those are the two most important things, is consistency and playing what you love that's popular. I don't really have anything else. I would also say don't think that it's going to be easy.
Yeah, it's definitely a grind.
It's a grind.
It's true. It is a grind. Like it takes a long time and a lot of energy. And like it's not just the streaming, it's the after, dealing with your community and talking and growing your community off stream too. It's like it's a lot of work.
Yeah. What about the flip side of that? What would be something you just don't do it? Don't go into this way. Don't go into the headset mindset. Don't do something or anything you would say to avoid as a live streamer.
I've actually learned this recently, and it's working with a partner in streaming. You guys, I see Craig a lot. I mean, I see Craig more than I see my wife. We bicker on stream sometimes. Like, I think some people think it's funny, and sometimes we oversell the bickering. But sometimes when we oversell, people think we're really, really hating each other. I would say, and I'd also lump this in there with it. I like to whenever we're making VOD content, I like to oversell the angry man, all these cuss words and timber tantrums and stuff. I don't think that really works for a live audience the way it does for a VOD audience because you can edit the rage to make it seem more ridiculous
or funny.
Yeah. But when it's a static cam on somebody just yelling at video games, I feel like the streaming audience and VOD audiences are so different. I would bet my life on that. But I would be genuine as you can, and don't try to. I mean, some people play a character and it's awesome, like Dr. Disrespect. He's the man, and that's cool. But just be aware of what you're showing your audience at all times. Because whenever I rage on streams, people think that like they don't think it's a game. They don't think I'm messing around. They're like, oh man, what an a-hole, and they just stop tuning in. Or they'll tweet me and be like, man, you gotta. I saw a comment the other day that was like, man, it really bums me out to see you guys like this, because we were like overselling, like being annoyed with each other, and that is soul crushing. Craig read the comment and he was just like, man, that hurts so bad. And I don't ever want our audience to think that like you're actually mad if you're not. You know what I mean? If you're playing a character, it's a little bit different, but just be genuine and have fun. I think that's what the streaming audience is truly after, is watching somebody have a good time.
Yes.
Yeah, one common theme I think between these two, which are almost like a twin pair on live streaming, is your positive attitudes. You guys seem to have almost no negative slant on how you approach talking to people or the game. It's almost like you have levity on everything you approach, and I feel like that's also something that's quite a big thing for your channels.
Yeah, and that's hard to do, but I think it's very important is you can't let, especially like when people come in and try to troll you and like say mean things, right? Because when you make a video, you can go through and read the comments, but no one's watching you like react to it. But when you're a live streamer and those people come in and say these like vicious, awful things to you, you see it in the moment and you have 1,000 people watching you. How are you going to respond to that? So that's what's hard. Is it takes time, but you just have to. You can't let like that negativity get to you, and you just do your best to like just stay as positive as possible, because that's what people want to see when they come watch a live streamer. They don't want someone who's complaining and moping all the time and just being super negative. So, but it's hard to do that. But
and y'all's attitudes are something that I've picked up on and I've tried to emulate, especially with Craig. And like sometimes we have cranky days where we stay until 1 o'clock, and we would come in and we'd just be like, we'd both be in like horrible moods. We've had streams where we've come in the morning and like we've been pissed at each other for no good reason, just because like, oh, you again. I see you 50 hours a week, and like you can't hide that on the stream.
But also, like, the community that is watching you also emulates the way that you are. So, like, if you're streaming and you're in a bad mood, or if you're like creating a toxic environment, like they're going to be toxic. So, like, you got to be careful, like how I like to be positive about all the comments and ignore the bad stuff, because I don't want to encourage anyone in the chat to react to it, because otherwise it creates this like it's like a tornado of like all this poison, and I'd rather not deal with that, and I think it's worked for me, especially like people aren't really negative in my chat, and if they are, like other people like shut them down really quick because they're used to the positive experience, and I think that's, like she said, like that's why they come. It's because they want to see a positive stream, and they want to hang out with positive people.
Well, that's pretty much it for the questions, but I want to get anything specific or anything on your mind. I'm not really sure I don't have a mic to roll around, so hopefully you guys get shouting. Anybody have any questions? Oh, the guy in the very back with the silver.
yeah,
Is that a camera on it too? What's going on there? That is a huge mic.
That is a big mic.
Why didn't I get that?
thank you, Nick. I love you.
Really? This little tiny mic, and they had the big one?
No,
No.
it's not working.
Hello?
Yeah, that's the
Still getting quite good.
There you go.
Hi, do you feel as though your channels have been affected by what everyone's calling the apocalypse? The thing that seems to be demonetizing channels that are playing violent games at the moment? Or maybe you feel your channels are not as successful as they maybe once were because they're not being featured in the algorithm quite the same way as they were?
We're streaming channels.
You still get affected though.
Yes, I know. I think it's growing pains, and hopefully things will get figured out. So, but it's our audience has our backs. So for Game Attack, it hasn't really affected us, because we're with the super chats and the sponsorships and the direct donations. Like that's how we can grow and be supported by our community. So not me personally. So luckily.
I guess it seems like not affect that much. I mean, it's an ongoing thing. There are YouTube employees here if you want to talk about the after the panel. I think there's some here that can answer some questions more detailed, because we're not within the system of YouTube. But being live streamers, I think the majority of everything you guys are doing like a vast majority is donations and sponsorships, correct?
Yes.
Like to a degree that's just crushed.
I would almost say it's close to 100%. Like,
Close to, yes.
Yeah, because I mean, like we archive all of our streams on the channel, but that's like for a very small fraction of our audience. You know, a very small amount of people watch those, and especially watch the entirety of like the 2 hours. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You broke it. What did you do?
Get out.
What have you guys learned from other streamers, especially in the early stages? Like, how much did you guys watch other streamers or work with them, or do you guys work with other streamers like now, actively? And how does that, does your audience notice, or do you want your audience to notice that? So I guess that's a good question.
Like, do you want our audience to notice being influenced by other creators? Yeah.
I think yes. I
Yeah.
mean, we play together on our streams, and I think that, you know, there's things that, well, I know I take some things from other people's streams, and I mean, I see people take things from my streams, and I think it's cool to, like, it's like a sharing thing, it's like a learning thing. We all are in it together. Like, I don't look at them as competitors, and I think that, you know, having Julie on my stream was awesome. Having Bolo and Game Attack, like, it's so much fun being able to play with each other and learn from each other. I mean, that's the whole point, is like to build not just your, you know, your community, but like combining communities is like another way to do it. It's like when you're streaming together, now it's, you know, their community comes over, or like we just talk about each other. It's more fun that way.
Especially on a new platform. I mean, YouTube gaming, like in the grand scheme of things, is like it's a little baby. Like it's still growing. So like, you know, we can be a community, a group of people that are growing the platform together. And so that it doesn't make, it's the opposite of competition. It's we need each other to grow the platform and our channels. What was the first half of your question?
About you're getting started. How is it that you're building and growing, name dropping, or using others to kind of pull you up?
Yeah, well, when I first started streaming, I got raided by like stat. So the raid is when a streamer is ending their stream, like since he's gonna go like eat lunch or whatever. It's like, okay, I'm ending, but we're gonna go say hi to another streamer with a hashtag stat raid. So basically, it's doing something nice for another streamer, and you send all of your viewers over there to just show them some love. So like he came over and like raided me. I'm like, what the heck is happening? Like they're spamming me. Like get out of here. Like I have no idea. But basically, like that got me introduced to stat, and then like I got introduced to other streamers. And again, by collabing with them, and like one person basically helped mentor me. Like she's like, oh yeah, your overlay, like let me help you with that. Looks terrible, basically. She was nicer than that, but she like helped me with my overlay. And then she started rating me, so I kept growing because just the connections I was making with streamers who were kind of around my level. Maybe they were smaller, maybe they were bigger, but it's forming that friendship and having people help you when they see something like, oh, like I've never, or you're watching their stream, like I need to emulate that, like it's working for this person. And then to brag on Sean, like when we first started collabing like a month and a half ago.
Yeah, we rated you.
Yeah, like they came over and like rated me, and I think I got like 40 sponsors that night, which was the most I ever got. Like for me, it's like if I can get 10 people to sponsor my channel, that's like a great night. So like just a month and a half ago, like because he was just doing something nice, and it was because like we got connected, and he's like, we're gonna like go raid like One Shot Girl, and then everyone like came over, and I have a bunch of reviewers who are like, oh, like Game Attack just ended, like I'm here to hang out with you now. I'm like, yes, like thank you, like you're welcome here, obviously. But so it's really, really important if you can grow together with people, and like Stat and I, we play a lot together. We like made a t-shirt campaign.